Hey, we have such great conversations when OBG70, Zax, and I do live streams and have special guests. Not everybody wants to sit through almost 4 hours of live streams, so I'm picking out some really great parts to share in snack-sized bites. Speaking of ridiculous, I know this is near and dear to your heart, Purple, and this is it's from the Discworld franchise. I'm going to let you speak to this.
Yes, absolutely. So, as you say, I have been a lifelong fan of Terry Pratchett's work. Absolutely love the books. Been reading them for more years than I care to admit. And I was very excited when they first announced that this show was going to be in the works. We've had, shows from Sky One. We had the Hogfather. We had Going Postal. Yeah, they were generally actually really well received because they were very close to the source material. Terry was still alive at the time, and he had a lot of involvement. Yep. And when this was first announced, it seemed to be going in the same direction. He gave it his blessing. It was talked about at one of the conventions, and we were all excited for it. And then we got the watch, and I don't think it's bad to say that it is a Discworld in name only, as with so many other things at the moment. But
just look at that headline. I mean, like, I can't. You go ahead. I'm reading this while you're talking, and I'm like, wow.
Basically, they took the characters and the setting and nothing else. The characters look nothing like they're described in the book. The little lady next to Richard Dormer is supposed to be a very powerful werewolf character. She's supposed to be tall and beautiful and very capable. This lady obviously is very petite and very non-threatening. Richard Dormer himself plays a character called Vimes, and he is one of the most important characters in the Discworld books. He is a rags to riches story, somebody who goes from basically a absolute loser to being captain of the guard. He marries into this very rich family, and he becomes a very respected person. He basically turns his life around. But Richard Dormer in this, he just kind of pulls weird faces, and I don't know what the hell he was thinking. But as the headline says, even Pratchett's daughter put as much distance between the watch and her father's work as possible, as did the Terry Pratchett estate.
I loved The Hogfather. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I've read The Color of Magic, and I think the book that comes after that. I think he's a great writer. I mean, he's extraordinarily, I'm going to use this woke word, but I don't mean it the way the woke mean it. It's a really accessible book. I mean, you could read this at any age and enjoy it.
Agreed, yeah. The one thing that Terry did very well, obviously, he was very satirical. He's very, very big over here, but I think he also has quite a large following in the US as well now. Now this, because you think it would be because he was a UK author, you think it would have been one of the first things that they put on TV, but they did not. This wasn't even shown in the UK until about several months after. I think Australia got it, Canada got it, the UK did not. That's how little they cared. And this was BBC America that pitched it.
So this is from Lyle Hammock. He says, Terry Pratchett was a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. He even wrote a letter to Tolkien, who answered back, and he would often praise Tolkien as inspiring him to write. Wow.
He did indeed, and I've actually seen that letter. There was a kind of like a display of all of Terry's work and lots of his typewriter and all the artwork that went with it. And the Tolkien estate at the time was so protective of anything to do with Tolkien. There was a sign next to the letter saying, "You're forbidden to take photographs of this letter."
That's wild. That is wild.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you're in for a treat now that you downloaded that Terry Prachett book. You hear this enthusiasm? This is loved around the world. So you got to like it now. I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah, I've read Turtles, something on a turtle's back, and I mean just like a page so far.
Yes.
So we'll see how this goes.
So I want to ask Purple, what makes Discworld special for you? Like, what drew you to those stories?
For me, it was just something that I fell into accidentally. I was at school, and one of the teachers, the English teachers, they had this little kind of excerpt from one of the books called Mort, and it was where Deaf goes to a job centre, basically, because he doesn't want to be deaf anymore, so he wants to find a new profession. And I just thought that this is brilliant. I have to find out more about this author, and it just snowballed from there.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. No, I read the first book. It was actually, I found it in a laundromat, and it was all beaten up, and it was either that or read the Jehovah's Witnesses literature, and I was like, all right, I'm going to read this book, and I loved it, and it's just sometimes, life, you just do your clothes at the right laundromat when you're, in your 20s, you end up finding a book you're going to love. As ever, this is Salty Texas Sea. I am Corey DB. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you've seen and heard, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you on board. That way and we have things like live streams, which we are now going to be doing every Tuesday evening. Take care. I hope you're having a great 2022.